It's obvious that you listen to this show to hear about and support other people's dreams. But what about yours? What is your dream project? I'm here to help you break through whatever is in the way of your dreams and get you to the finish line. Go to dreamingbigcoaching.com today and take the first step. Literally, it's a button you can click to sign up for a free consultation with me. Let's find out if I can help you reach your goal. Click on Take the First Step. It's that simple to start the rest of your life. Get coached by Rob Southgate at dreamingbigcoaching.com. Welcome to Go Fund This. I'm Rob Southgate. Today I have with me comic creator and podcaster. I'm going to put that in there too because you're going to pimp that at the end. Mark Bell from Plague Doctor Press. And the reason I have Mark on today is he is kickstarting his latest book, or their latest book, I should say, because we've got more than you involved in it.
Yep.
So there it is. This is the first time we actually have on video where we can show the cover. There it is. That's not the cover of the new one, though. That's the old cover.
No,
that's Ranger Volume 2, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to do issue number 2, but of course, issue number 1 will be available. Strange Ranger is an adventure, all ages comic book set in a magical, supernatural park, like a national park, but I leave it in a mystical place where a young woman's first job is solely responsible for the whole park, and her name is Agatha, and she is on the cover there, and she deals with not only being her first job and her first overwhelming experience, but also she did not know that there were mystical creatures in the forest when she began. So
surprise. Although I think in reality that might happen to a few of these park rangers.
I think so. Like, I listened to and read a bunch of park ranger stories about interesting or unexpected things that went on, and it was super interesting. Like, there's a phenomenon of stairs.
Okay, Mark. This is a thing, and you want to hear something about, like, the staircase that goes nowhere, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I know an author. I was talking to her. I wasn't interviewing her. And we started talking about paranormal stuff because I see you've got a Bigfoot t-shirt on. I like all this stuff, right? Come on. I'm an MBA and a college professor. I could add credibility to the argument that, like, yeah, there's something going on. There's something. Who knows, right? And I dig all this. So I'm talking to this author. And I said, have you ever had anything? Because she had mentioned ghost stories and that. She goes, well, yeah. And she said, I'll tell you the creepiest one. When I was a kid, there was this staircase in the woods by my grandparents.
Yep.
It's that story. It's one of those stories. And I said, really? And she said, they lived, like, I think they were Canadian, but it was in the forest. And she said she found them and she was a kid and her grandfather freaked out. And he goes, don't touch it. Don't go near it. And she was like, why? They don't go anywhere. And he was like, they do. Don't go near it. Don't touch it. And she said when they went back, it was gone.
Yep. I definitely have heard stories like that. And in Strange Ranger 1, the first Kickstarter, we did a map of the park and there's stairs on there.
I tell you what, I have another show, like we've just been talking about. You guys didn't hear this that are listening, but I have a million shows. I have another show that's a secret hidden show. It's not put on an RSS feed. It's only on a hidden Facebook page, but it's called Graphic Tales, and we talk about this kind of stuff. Mark, I'm going to have you on that, and we're going to talk about Bigfoot and stairs and all that kind of fun stuff. But that's not what today is about. Today is about your Kickstarter. So the Kickstarter, it launches November 19th.
Yes.
The goal is $3,500, a very doable goal, especially for a second volume of a comic book that is fantastic. I mean, this is just so cool, and I love the artwork. I love everything about it. So let's go with this. First of all, I want the audience to know that I will put a link in the show notes so that they can sign up to get notified when you go live.
Yep.
Very important.
And that's super important to us. The more people we have on that initial day, the better off that first day is.
Yes.
And even if you want to wait to see what the rewards are or see what different tiers are, please sign up for that
yes,
notification, because that also promotes us on Kickstarter.
Yes, it actually puts it so that it triggers the algorithm so that you'll show up when people are looking for new Kickstarters. So it really, really helps. The other thing is, and I'm a broken record on this show, help Mark out by sharing this. Even at this point, when you go in and you sign up for the thing, there's a share button. Share it, because you don't know who out there is going to read about this project. Somebody like me that goes, Strange Ranger, oh, look, paranormal weird stuff going on in the state park. Sign me up.
Exactly.
So share it. It can do nothing but help a really cool project.
Well, I'm sure you've talked about this before on especially this particular show. Crowdfunding projects are all about the networks that you build and combine, and those networks are built and combined by sharing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And people get excited to support things that people that they know are supporting.
Yes.
They feel like they can jump into that water and hey, we've got a thing going on. I know for me personally, if a friend was supporting this and they sent it out, I'd be like, oh, hey, I want to read that too, so we can talk about it. Because spoiler, I like to talk about things. So share it with people.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention about the book is that it is a great all ages book. I've had kids from reading age up to adults enjoy this book. It's not a book that it's not a primary school book. It's meant for a little more mature reader, but any kid can read it who can read.
It's like classic
no violence.
When we were kids, that's how they were, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No violence, no extreme images, nothing like that at all. No language, nothing like that at all. But I wanted to have on my table at conventions a space where any kid could come up to.
Yeah.
Because I've found at conventions that, first of all, AI art is I don't support AI art at all.
Right.
And it's also unpredictable. So you can have things in AI art that kids might be upset seeing. So I wanted and seeing more and more of that at conventions. And plus, there is a place for adult content, specifically in comics, and that's great. I think that those people are doing some amazing, interesting things, but I'm providing an alternative where a kid can come up to my table and look at anything on my table.
Hi there, I'm Rob Southgate and host of this show. This is the trailer for TTRPG Insider, a podcast about, you guessed it, tabletop role-playing games. Actually, it's more specifically about the amazing people that create TTRPGs. Each episode, I'll interview someone who is involved in making the games that we all love to play. You'll hear from world builders, artists, musicians, writers, marketers, people that run the Discord, and really just anyone involved behind the scenes. And this isn't just a promo show talking about how great their games are. I want to hear their stories. How they got to where they are, what's their history with gaming, any tips they can give, and hopefully some fun stories about their lives. So, let's make this official. Welcome to the TTRPG Insider Podcast. TTRPG Insider is a celebration of an industry that I love. I started this show so I would have a chance to talk with the people that you might meet at a convention if you're lucky enough. So grab your dice, throw on some headphones, and come with me on this journey. Oh yeah, make sure to subscribe or follow wherever you listen to podcasts to hear our first episode when it drops this week. Yeah, excellent. That's I'm a big proponent of that as well. I used to have a mission where I would go when we travel. I'd go into comic book stores and talk to the owners and say, like, you need to stop putting just these, explicit things at the front. Have a rack for kids. Like, understand that you need to attract parents and grandparents and kids and not have this stuff right up at the front. Have it, you know, but if you want to build an actual audience, you need to kind of have a mix of that. And it does. And when I say kids, it doesn't have to be the Donald Duck comic book. It would be something like this that's safe.
Well, and
that's what got us when we were kids too, right?
I'm from Bloomington, Indiana, and the other major comic book guy in town is Nate Powell, who did March and Run, as well as some other great comic books. And he is of the same mind as me that we need to get kids reading comics.
Yep.
And we need to get more kids making comics. And the way you do that is create attainable, understandable comics for kids to look at. Because that's what happened when I was a kid. I was like reading Marvel comics going, oh, I could make this.
Yep. You know, the other one that boy, this show turned into something different than it normally is. It sounds more like Alley Chats that we're on, is my wife and I used to make zines. And I still think that is, you know, you get a younger creator and you teach them how they can make their own comic book and copy it over at Kinko's and, you know, have something on their table that leads them to something. Yep. I know one guy I knew him way back. He was doing these simple drawings. Guess what? His art style is still simple. But I saw he drew the logo for a big food chain. I saw it the other day and I went, wait, that's his character. And then I looked it up and it's him. He's still doing his zine from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, right?
And that is a way of life that was foreign to us in the 70s and 80s. That you had to go to New York or you had to go to California to do that.
Yeah. And now
you don't have
to be anywhere.
I can work with Yonson Carbonell in Dominican Republic. The other book I have, Spirit, is a young woman who's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I get to work with her. She makes a living doing comic books in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She lives the life that she wants to live. And that was unheard of 25 years ago.
Amazing. All right, let's talk about the book again. Tiers. Yep. Can you give us a couple of your favorite tiers just to kind of chum the water for people?
Certainly there's going to be a tier that covers, and most importantly, if you missed the first one, you can get 1 and 2, both in print and in digital, of course, as well as your name in it. I love those tiers. In addition, this particular issue number 2, is going to have a cover by Yonson. So that's the A cover. A cover by Melissa Caprione, the woman from Fort Wayne, who's also a Dark Horse artist. She has a Dark Horse book out. So we have that. And then there's a third cover. I haven't signed the contract yet, so I don't want to release the name, but a third cover of a well-known kickstarting comic book artist who is very successful on the platform, who does great work. So there will be a tier that you can get all 3 covers if you want.
Wow, cool. Very cool.
And then my favorite tier, I love this tier because I love this idea, is my most expensive tier. And what it will be is this issue number 2, is entitled Night of the Trollbadgers, because the Trollbadgers have taken over the park while Agatha was away. And they are essentially a combination of Gremlins, Jack Black, and Chaos all put together. There's lots of them. They do all sorts of crazy things. And at some point in time, they're going to harass different park attendees. And you will have a chance, if you pay for that privilege, to appear in the comic being harassed by a troll badger.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that so much. You put one more tier on there where you can actually be one of the troll badgers harassing.
We are working on that troll badger design, and that is a definite possibility.
Yeah, I mean, if you look like Jack Black already, it might be an advantage. Very easy to transition. So, okay, we know some tiers. Once again, it launches November 19th. It's $3,500. It's the first goal, but we want to blast past that. I know you have some stretch goals. Why don't you tell us
when we reach that first stretch goal, that is usually when my stretch goals are usually almost right away after funding or very close to it, because I want to make a celebration when we reach funding. This is my 5th project. I've been so blessed and lucky to have 4 successfully funded projects before. Every project has done very well. I have very positive thoughts about this one. What everybody's going to get is a coloring book, which has all the characters from Strange Ranger, all the characters from Spirit will all appear in that comic book. I've been making a kind of zine-like version of this comic book and handing it out at cons, and having such a great response because of this.
I love everything you just said. Okay, so it's Strange Ranger. Go to Kickstarter. You can look up Plague Doctor Publications or Plague Doctor Press, right?
Yeah, or Strange Ranger, or Night of the Trollbadgers, or I have an easy URL. It's kickstarter.plaguedoctorpress.com. That goes to my latest Kickstarter always.
Or click on the link in the show notes.
Yep.
That's another way to do it. And you want to sign up early. Get in there, hear this, go sign up, get notified when it's going to launch, and share it. Those are
for instance, that 3 covers, that reward tier, there'll be an early version of that, which is a little bit less. Gobble those up.
Gobble them up. Yes. All right. There we go. Last thing, Mark, do you want to give any social media? Where can people engage with you if they have questions?
PlagueDoctorPress.com has all my social medias on it. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. Twitter and Blue Sky are going through this weird phase right now in terms of Kickstarters and artists. So look for me in either of those places. As well as we have a Facebook page called facebook.com/plaguepress.
Perfect. Last thing, you have a podcast. Say the name of your podcast so people can hear your lovely voice and the amazing show that you put on with your wife.
Completely unrelated. I do a podcast with my wife called Mystery Maniacs. We are a comedy recap podcast that covers mystery shows from other countries than the U.S. So we've covered Midsummer Murders from England and Murdoch Mysteries from Canada, and we are currently covering Broken Wood Mysteries from New Zealand, which is a huge success, that show, and we've had such a great success with it. So
fantastic.
If you like those shows, you'll like us talking about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, from my experience with doing podcasts like that, even if you don't listen to the shows, the host can be so entertaining. Who cares? Listen to it, have some fun with it. You'll probably end up watching the show.
We've had people who came for Midsummer and then watched all the other shows and they'd never seen them before. And they were like, thank you for introducing us to these.
It's a lot of fun, right? It's a lot of fun. All right, Mark, good luck with this. November 19th, you be there and help them hit that goal as fast as possible, because that really helps projects like this keep going. And also, something else I always say on here, get it funded to help fund the next thing. We get over the goal. That's money in the kitty for the next project so they can keep going.
The funding is to pay the artist who deserve to be paid.
Yep.
And to make production. That I do the writing and the lettering and all the publishing and all the promotion stuff. That's not coming out of there. There's not a budget for that. I do that because I love it. I love comic books and I love these stories, and the artist doing the work. Yonson just does incredibly beautiful artwork. There's pages in these stories that take my breath away. And I want to share that, and I want to make sure that artist gets paid.
Perfect. Mark, thank you so much for being on.
Thank
Strange
you, Rob.
Ranger, it's on Kickstarter, Plague Doctor Press. Join everything, follow everything. Now go fund this.